Okay, so quick skill refresh. One I really recommend that you do if you haven't already, our little like GPS pin, because it's going to make sure that you know how to do smooth points and corner points. So wherever you start, I do have some recommendations over here of where to start, how to go about it. So just try it out if you haven't yet, where you click, hold shift and drag out to start your smooth point. Do the same here, click, hold, and shift. You will have to come back and kind of refine these. So don't forget, when you're working with the pen tool, you do a rough pass the first time around, then come back and clean up. Going down here, I'm gonna hold shift and drag down, but then to turn it into a corner, anybody remember what we do to turn a smooth point into a corner? What do we got? Oh, I thought you had an answer for me. You may, yes. Anybody else from Design Studio have an answer for me? How do we turn a smooth point into a corner point? Alt, Rebecca. Yes, it pays to be a dad alum. So when we hold Alt, we can grab that handle, pull it in a different direction, and then keep going, and now it's a sharp corner instead of a smooth curve. So clicking here, holding shift, dragging up, and finishing off my path. At this point, I can get my direct selection tool, shortcut A, and I can come down and start to clean this up. I'm going to make it not have a fill so that I can see actually where my points are. But remember, don't beat yourself up if your paths look really rough the first time around. They start to look good when you come back and clean them up later. So that would be the first thing I recommend you try, is just making sure you have a good handle on how to get those corner points and smooth points taken care of. Now it's time for some more advanced stuff, though. I'm not going to mess with the squirrel, because that's all stuff you've already practiced. Corners and smooth points, same here. But some of these are ones that I want to make sure that you've practiced.
Okay. Is this regarding me?
Yeah, it's just like a review, and I'm recording it.
Is on Google Classroom, you'll post it?
I will post it on Google Classroom, yeah.
Lectures were never my strong suit last year.
They're tough, yeah. So if you want to tune in and try this with me, I do have this file posted on Google Classroom. You can try some of it with me if you want.
Am I interrupting the video?
No, it's okay. I can always edit it. Don't worry. You're good. Okay. So for my Design Studio folks, a couple things that I want to make sure that you've had the chance to try out, because you might have done these previous ones last year, but not everyone made it all the way down to this final one, and there's some important skills that I want to expose you to, at least, because it can save you a lot of time when you're working with vectors. These other ones, there's a lot of ways to do them, but a lot of these just rely on using like the shape tool, for instance. You can make a star tool right from here. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Again, learning how to cut down work for yourself by using the shape tools to make parts of your shapes. And then breaking things down visually into their component parts. So breaking this peace sign down into the outer shape, using my pen tool then, or the line segment tool, to draw line segments and make the shape that way. Yeah. Yeah, it's in Illustrator. Yep. So just to clarify for anybody else that might want to make sure they're in the right thing, if you're practicing with me, we are looking at the pen tool practice right here. So it was under week 4, pen tool practice, and I have the same assignment that I'm using. Whoa, it's moving it around, sorry.
Sorry, my brother was calling.
Oh, everything good?
In Ghana.
What? I went to Ghana. That's so cool.
You did?
I want to hear about it. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's rad.
I'm on the phone with him still. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, if he's in Ghana, it's not easy to call, so yeah. I get it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the assignment we're looking at for anyone practicing along with me. So these other ones, you use the pen tool and just work with the stroke properties. So I'm going to show you really quick, because the stroke properties are important to know what your options are. I'm just going really fast and loose here. I'm not spending a whole lot of time. So Alt to make our corners. Woo, this is a rough little heart. Yowza. So my design studio folks, Dad will learn this soon enough, but look at how bad my heart is the first time around. It is okay, because by the time I come around and clean it up, it's going to look like a masterpiece. So I'm not beating myself up for how bad it looks initially. This is a lesson for life. You can always like revise and improve. So don't beat yourself up for gross looking paths. You can change them. All right, so I've cleaned up my heart enough to move on with the demo real quick. It's, again, still not perfect, but I want to show you the stuff that matters. So some of you might be familiar with this from last year, my design studio people, but I just want to remind you about the options that you have with your vector work. So if I go to the stroke panel, if you can't find yours, it's under window and then stroke. And it might just show you the weight at first, the stroke weight, like the thickness. But if you click on the 3 dashes for your menu and show options, you get all these cool things that you can change about it. And one of those is the endings of your lines, or the corners, and the caps. So I can change the corners to be rounded off instead of sharp. I can change them to be squared off. So that's a minor detail, but it is important for when you want a particular look from your work. So see how much softer the rounded edge looks from the sharp edge. All right. So some other things, these are where it gets kind of gnarly. So I encourage you to look on with me for some of these exercises. I'm going to move this stuff over out of our way. And Design Studio, I have hints at the bottom for how to do these, and I also have screenshots of me going through the process. What I really want you to come away from this with is a little bit of a different way of thinking when you're making logos and building things, so that you're making less work for yourself and you're using all the tools at your disposal to make it go fast. So, for instance, when I'm doing this Adobe logo, people's tendency is to come in and try and outline every little piece with the pen tool. You will lose your mind, and it will take you like 2 weeks where it could take you 5 minutes. So I want to show you the shortcut for making this. And this is not the stroke weight that I want, but what can you do? All right, so I'm going to get rid of the thick stroke on this. And I'm going to clean up this one leaf because I'm going to do it all with this one shape that I've built and save myself a ton of time. So I've built that one leaf shape. I'm going to reuse the work that I put in on that and not have to do it again. So I'm just copying it and modifying it a little bit to fit. So there's my next one. Woo. Did this not? Uh-oh. My leaf didn't connect. No, that one did. Some interesting shenanigans. Okay, let's try again. So if you forget everything else that I'm showing you, the idea is just like save your time. Don't work harder, work smarter. All right. So I'm adjusting this to try and fit that shape. All right, so I've made one leaf and I copied it 2 more times to make this outer shape. Now I'm going to fill these in and merge them into one. So they're overlapping a little bit. They need to overlap a little more so I can merge them. And in a perfect world, you'd spend a little more time, but this is for a quick demo. So I've selected all 3 of those copies of the leaf shape. Rebecca or any of our old veterans, do we remember what panel we use or what tool we use to merge separate shapes into one? Can't remember? I love to hear that because then this is for us. Okay. All my design studio people, anybody else know how to merge separate shapes into one? So right now, these are all 3 separate shapes. Anybody remember? That is why we're doing this review. This is perfect. I'm glad you don't, so I can show you. All right, I'm gonna go to window. I'm gonna find my, where is it? Pathfinder. It's this guy. If you don't remember Pathfinder, make friends with it because it will save you so much time and make your life so much easier. Right now, these are all separate shapes. I'm gonna select them all. This first one, I'm gonna click Unite and it merges them. So now they're one shape. And I didn't have to go through and painfully trace that whole thing. I made one leaf and I copied it 3 times. So I'm gonna hide that kind of off in the background. Now I'm gonna show you how to remove the white stripes from it to make this logo quickly. So I gotta get my rectangle tool. I'm gonna outline just one of these white rectangles. I'm gonna just make it like a really obnoxious color so we can see it. I'm gonna make a copy of it so I can reuse that one. I'm holding Alt, dragging down 2 more copies. All right, my design studio folks, here's where the magic happens. I'm gonna use my Pathfinder friend again by selecting the pink background, holding Shift and selecting one of the green stripes so I have both of these shapes selected. And Rebecca, I'm gonna keep asking you because I know you're my veteran, but any design studio folks, knowing that Pathfinder is an option, which Pathfinder thing do I use to remove a shape from another shape? Do we remember? It is really hard to see. I'm like, I wish I could move it over to you. Well, the second one, it does say minus front. Does that sound pretty good? Let's try it. Minus front. Boom! Look at that. Rebecca got it. You can do visual addition and subtraction with the Pathfinder, and that is so cool to me. So I'm going to click a shape, my green one again. I'm going to click the pink shape, minus front. Whoa, that didn't work. Let's try that again. So click that shape and this shape. Nope, it's being funky. Not to fear. I'm going to go into isolation mode. I'm going to paste it where it was. I'm going to try this again. Minus front. There we go. Problem solving. Is it working this time? Nope. Being funky again. I'm going into isolation mode by double clicking, pasting that shape again. One last time. Oh, it gets weirder every time. It doesn't want to do it again. I got to go into isolation mode again. Bless you, by the way. All right. It took a little bit of finagling, but it finally worked. So there you have it. The Adidas logo in what should have been, a few seconds here, but I had to stop along the way. Knowing that we are getting close to the end, I'm going to leave it there, but I do want to see my design studio folks try these other logo challenges. Remember that I have hints down at the bottom telling you what panels to try. I also have screenshots of the process. If you try just one more of these besides the Adidas one, I recommend the Beats one because that will get you, again, to use the Pathfinder to build this logo out of its separate shapes. So using like the circle and the rectangle tool, adjusting those shapes with your direct selection tool, so you have to modify them a little bit. You can merge them with Pathfinder. And then again with Pathfinder, remove the logo on top from the circle in the back to get a hollow circle. That way when you put it over different colors, the color shows through. So I'm going to encourage my design studio people, unless you're working on one of these previous activities, I want to see people try their hand at the Beats logo, keeping in mind that next week, or possibly Friday, I might have a vector skills quiz for you to see if you can remember and try some of these things. So keep that in mind and practice. If there are any questions, of course, holler at me, but I'm going to stop the recording and check back in on my ADADs.